Welcome to fourth part of this tutorial series. In this part, we'll learn about functions. Function is a block of code which can be reused multiple times. It can take values as parameters, and can return some values. To define a function, we use def keyword. Header of function consists of def keyword, followed by function name, and then parameter list. Then comes function body. Body of the function consists of statements which we want to execute. At last, we can use return keyword to return some value. When return keyword is encountered, execution of function is terminated. All the statements inside function body, including return statement, needs indentation. It should be tabbed right once, compared to def keyword. Let's see some example. Here we define a function named printName to print 3 large string. We use def keyword, followed by function name, and empty parameter list. Our function does not take any parameters, and does not return any values. Then we perform function call 2 times. We use parenthesis to do it. When we execute the code, 6 lines are printed as output. We called the function 2 times, which printed 3 lines each. We reused our code. Instead of writing print statements again, we just executed same function 2 times. Now, next function which we are going to define, takes a string as a parameter. It add hello as prefix, using addition operator, and print the string. We call this function by passing string value, Yash and Jimmy. Notice, in this case also, we reused the same code. We change output or outcode as per our need, by just altering value that we pass as parameter. So, output that we get is hello Yash, and hello Jimmy. This function takes number as parameters, and also returns a number. Our function will find a power b. We use return keyword to return the value of expression. Then we call the function with parameter 12 and 3, and store its value in variable a. Then we print that variable. In next line we directly print the value returned by our function, where we pass 10 and 3. As output we get 1728, 1000, which is value of 12 power 3, and 10 power 3 respectively. Now, we'll look at types of parameters, or formal arguments, in a function. There are 2 types of arguments, non-default and default. It is compulsory to pass value of non-default argument. If not passed, error will occur. Passing value of default argument is optional. If not passed, it takes default value. We specify default value of any parameter using assignment operator in parameter list. Note that, it is compulsory to specify all the non-default argument before specifying default parameter. In this example, we define a function named function1. It takes 2 non-default parameters, a, b, and 2 default parameters c, and b, with default values 10 and 20 respectively, and print values of a, b, c, and d. In this example, we will call function1, and pass parameter values based on position. First value will be mapped to first parameter, second value to second parameter, and so on. We first call function1, by passing just 2 non-default parameters. Then we call same function, by passing 3 and 4 parameters. You can see how these values are mapped to their respective parameters, in diagram above, and in the output which we get when we execute the outcode. In next example, we'll demonstrate calling of function using keyword arguments. Normally, if your pass values of parameters, it get mapped based on position, so order of values passed is important. If you change order of any value, then value of parameter changes. In case of keyword arguments, you explicitly map your values to parameter. So, whichever order your values are passed, it gets mapped to parameter of your choice. You use assignment operator and parameter name to do this. In this example, we called function1, using keyword arguments, first in order, then shuffled. Then, in next function call, we pass mix of positional and keyword argument. You can see how our values are mapped to parameters in diagram above, and also, in output produced when we execute the code. You need to keep in mind that, all the positional argument values which you pass, should be before keyword arguments, or else error will occur. You can see in this example, we pass positional argument 200 at last, after keyword argument D and C. Thus, causing error when we execute the code. Notice it says, positional argument follows keyword argument, which is cause of our error. So, keep 200, just after 100. Next we'll learn about Lambda keyword. It's really handy tool. It is used to create anonymous functions. Anonymous functions in Python are functions, which are defined without names. To create anonymous function, write lambda, follower by parameter that it takes, then colon. Then specify expression whose value we need to return. In this example, we'll again define return power function, which we defined earlier, but with lambda keyword. To do this, we write lambda, followed by two parameters that it will take, which is a and b. Next, we'll write expression whose value we are going to return, that is, a power b. Then we store the object returned by lambda keyword in return power variable. Then, we call this function by pass in values 12, 2, and 144, 0.5, and get their output, 144 and 12 respectively. Also remember that you don't have to use return when you use lambda, just specify the value or expression whose value is to be returned. Object not callable error occur when you try to call any object, which is not callable. In simple terms, you try to call something which is not function, or callable. Here callable means, we can use that object as a function. Let's see an example. In this example, we assign variable a list. Then we try to call a, using parenthesis, but it causes error. Error says, list object is not callable. So, if this type of error occur, maybe you are trying to call wrong object.